Number 6 through 9, we're getting into word problems. These word problems will vary from whether it's growth decay being looked for, or simple or compound interest being asked to solve for. So you've got to read and look for those keywords, all right? If you see the word interest, that right there is telling you you're going to use one of the interest formulas. If you don't see the word interest, then it's probably going to be growth or decay. For number 6, Vivian opened a bank account and deposited $4,000. Her bank balance has been decreasing at a rate of 3.4% annually. How much will she have after 6 years? This is telling you she has a decreasing rate of her balance, which means we're using a decay formula. Decay formula is y equals your A times 1 minus your rate to the power of whatever your time is. Let's identify our factors. My A, my initial amount, is $4,000. My rate, remember we have to write that as a decimal. So I look at this, even though it looks like it's a decimal, if you see a percent sign, it's a percent. So I move my decimal over 2 times, and I'm going to get 0.034 for the rate, and the time is 6 years. Just write down everything and then type it in the calculator. So that's 4,000 times 1 minus 0.034 to the power of 6. Let the calculator do all the work for you. Just remember to round to the nearest hundredths place, which is the nearest cent. I got $3,250.29 for my final answer. And don't forget, if you are wanting partial credit, then you need to write down the formula so I can see if you actually know what formula you're using and just maybe typed it in incorrectly and got a wrong answer. Number 7, an investment is increasing by 5% each year. If the original investment was at $2,125, how much would it be worth after 10 years? This problem here, speaking of increasing rate, which means we are looking at a growth formula, which is y equals a parenthesis 1 plus your rate as a decimal raised to the power of t. My A is my initial amount, $2,125. My rate as a percent, I would just take 5%, move the decimal over twice, and I get 0.05. And the time is 10. Again, let the calculator do all the work for you. Just write the formula down first. All right, when you do this to the nearest cent, this is what you should have. $3,461.40. Number 8, credit union is offering a special loan with a simple interest rate of 2%. Simple interest rate 2%. You're going to borrow $1,250. We want to know how much you're going to owe after 10 years. Simple interest rate means you're going to use the simple interest formula, which is total amount owed equals your principal times 1 plus your rate times your time. There is no exponent on the outside. Identify your factors. Principal is $1,250. That's the amount that you borrowed that you're starting off with. The rate as a decimal right here, change it over, will be 0.02. The time in years is 10. Write down your formula. This is a time sign. And the calculator will do all the work for you. I have 1,500 even. A student loan has an interest rate of 1.9%, and this interest rate is compounded semi-annually. He takes out a loan for $7,000. How much will he owe after 4 years? When you see the word compounded, you're using the compound interest formula. You also need to look for the keywords such as annual, semi-annual, quarterly, daily, monthly, weekly. Since I see semi-annually, that tells me right off the bat it will be 2 times a year that the interest is calculated. So let's get our values. The formula is A equals the principal times 1 plus the rate divided by the number of times it's compounded. And you're going to raise this to the power of the number of times compounded times the years. The principal is 7,000. The rate is 0.019. The number of times compounded is 2 because it's semi-annually. And the time is 4 years. So let's just write this down. And I got $7,550.03.